G'day, my name's Darryl Webb. Today we're going to have a look at the Scopemate nvs90 digital infrared night vision camera. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, we'll start off with some specifications because that's always useful. I've just got it off the booklet here so I don't have to get scales out and weight and things like that. Anyway, okay, it weighs 260 grams. It has 30mm eye relief. It focuses down to 3 centimeters. It has a 16mm lens. It has 850 nanometer IR wavelength. Nanometer, I think that's what it is. The infrared power, so the IR illuminator is 5 watts. The output video type is MP4. The eyepiece resolution is a HD OLED display. Transmission methods are Wi-Fi and USB. They're under there. USB and a little memory card in there. Infrared illuminated distance is 300 meters. Photo resolution is 3456 by 1944 pixels. And the video resolution is 1920 by 1080. And it does 120 frames per second, 60 frames per second and 30 frames per second. Runs on a single 18650 battery. Maximum, it uses a micro SD card. And it's maximum 256 gigabyte. It says application is day and night hunting / fishing / security. It also has 12 languages in the menu. We'll just talk about build quality for a second. Most of the actual unit is made out of plastic. It's just a hard sort of resin type plastic. The front, where the torch illuminator is, where the bayonet is to actually hook into, where the battery cabinet, that's actually all aluminium. And the actual connector you use to connect it onto the rifle or scope or whatever you're putting on, that's aluminium as well. Rubber eyepiece, diopter adjustable. I did email and ask them if it's waterproof or water resistant, and they said it's not. It does actually have little O-rings around the front, and just build quality sort of seems to remind me of a camera that I would say weather resistant. You know, maybe I don't think too much dust and maybe a light, you know, a bit of drizzle's not going to hurt it, but it would be nice if it was proper weather resistant, but it's not. The buttons are all very nice touchy. That you got good tactile feedback. They don't feel like that they're weak or anything like that. Actually, everything feels quite good. The threading, mine was actually a little bit dry. I put a little bit of lube on there because it was a little bit gritty. It just needed a little dab of lube and it was perfect. And overall construction is pretty good. While we're on it, for connectivity, there is a micro SD card slot in the side, so you can record directly that. You can also take that out, put it into your PC and get the files off. There is also a micro SD, well not micro SD, a micro USB lead as well that's come supplied with it. And you can use that, it will charge it, and it's also for data transfer. There is another way of connecting it. It's via the app on your phone. There's a Scopemate app you can download from their site. It's not on the Google Play Store yet, and I'm not sure if there's an iOS version yet. On the menu it says iOS version to come, but there may be one by the time you see this video. But there is one for the Android app, and it lets you just do the basics. It doesn't let you change everything in the menu, but it lets you connect to it via Wi-Fi. So you just turn the Wi-Fi on on this, go into the menu, turn Wi-Fi on, find your phone, join it, and then you can actually live see what this unit's seeing. You can also use that app to transfer files from the unit to your phone. So if you're not someone who likes taking things in and out, micro SD cards, you can actually do it all with your phone over Wi-Fi. The app seems to work pretty good. It's not the best app I've ever used. There's a fair bit of lag between the device and the unit when you're viewing it in real time. And on several occasions when I'm trying to download the files from the unit to the phone, it'll fail. And you just click start all, and it will keep on trying until it actually gets it all. So sometimes it takes you have to click it a few times before you actually get the file from this to your phone. But all in all, the app is worth having. It does work, even if it is a little bit buggy. But I guess there's probably newer versions of the app and updates, and it will get better from there. It's only new. We'll talk about its menu quickly. There's a dedicated menu button in there. When you go into that, you can go through, set all your basic items, you know, time and date and everything like that. You can also change, you know, your frame rates, where you want it high frame rates or low frame rates. You can change a few different settings, recording mode and whatnot, and pictures and things like that. There's also a a slow motion feature in there, so if you don't want to actually record in say 120 frames per second and then do the slow motion in rendering it when you actually edit your video, you can record either 4 times or 6 times slow motion direct in your unit, and it saves it as a slow motion file. The only thing that I've found that it doesn't record audio like that, but that's not a big drama because you can't really use audio from slow motion anyway. But the menu is very easy. It's really self-explanatory. If you can find your way around a phone easily, or a basic video camera, you'll find your way around this really easy. It's very laid out quite well and simple to understand and simple to use. It has enough features that you can sort of customize it a bit for how you like. For instance, because the unit is day mode and night mode, you can change, for instance, when you turn it on, which mode it defaults and starts off in. So for instance, if you use it mainly at night, you can set it for infrared mode. If you use it mainly at day, you can have it say every time you turn it on, it goes back to default as daytime mode, colour. Now let's just talk quickly about how it actually performs. So the unit has a focusing under here, and it's got a diopter. So once you sort of got it set to your eye, you'll click it onto your scope, you'd focus this onto the reticle of the scope, and then you'd use your parallax adjustment to actually focus the picture. Once you've got that done, you've got a pretty good clean image. Surprisingly good for the fact that it's going through a scope. The infrared illuminator, it says on there it goes out to 300 meters. It does. If you're at that far, but maybe the light's not hugely, you might want to substitute it and put another big, maybe an infrared spotlight or something on there if you're going that far all the time. But I found on infrared 1 out to 200 meters, it's great. Actually, out to 200 meters, I can't see the difference between infrared 1 and infrared 3. There's sort of 3 settings, 1, 2, and 3. If you run it on 3, you'll chew your battery down in about 1 hour. If you run it on 1, you sort of get a couple of hours. And if you run it on with no infrared illuminator on, then obviously you're going to get it a fair bit of time. I think the performance is very, very similar to using a spotlight. If you're used to hunting under a spotlight through a scope, then it's a very similar experience. We might not be able to see it with our naked eye, but this little infrared illuminator is just really a torch. It's shining a light that we can't see, but the camera sees fine. And any limitations or things you would expect from using a spotlight is the same. It carries over to this. Sometimes you can't see far enough, there's not enough light down there, but you can see eye shine, and that's when you can focus this little light a bit more and then zoom in with your zoom on your scope, and you can actually see, hopefully, as long as you're not too far away, what's giving you eye shine, and if it's something you can have a go at, you can have a go at it. But all in all, it's a different way of hunting. It's hunting in complete darkness. You can't see your hand in front of your face. It's that dark, and all of a sudden it's like you've got a spotlight, but nothing else can see it except you looking through this. Okay, so the mounting, it's pretty simple. It's just screws on, and it's got it comes with 2 different size ones, a large one and a small one for different size scopes. It comes with a roll of tape. It's pretty much like white electrical tape. You put a wrap around that. It actually just sort of helps it so it doesn't mark up your scope, and it also makes it so this grips a bit better without slipping around. You do that up tight, and I've got to say, it actually stays there really good. You can buy extras of these, and I'm going to do that because there's a couple other rifles I'd like to have it on, and once you've got it set the way you like it, you don't sort of want to, because it takes a bit longer, where this way you can just done, it's on, push the little clip and undo it, and it's off. So you could have a couple of different rifles with the same bayonet, and you could share the same unit over a few different rifles. So the mounting's pretty simple. I found that you try and mount it as far back as you can get it, because that widens the picture up. It is a 16mm lens on this, so when you do it, it does actually crop in a bit on the image. So when you have, say for instance, a 3 to 9 power scope, this is pretty much like 2 times zoom. So when you put it on this, your 3 to 9 sort of turns into a 6 to 18. So it changes what your objective is in your scope settings, and everything how you'd sort of like it. I like a nice wide view when I'm looking for stuff. You lose it a little bit by using this, so you do have to be a bit careful about scope choice. Maybe a 2 to 7 or something might be more happy with. That is something to think about anyway. But mounting, simple, quick and easy. Pros and cons. Let's start off with some cons. A couple of things that I've sort of found with it. One of them is when you turn it on, if you're looking in it, as it starts up, it gives a little flash in the screen. if you press the button quickly, it goes into like a sleep mode, and so when you walk around and you want to use it again, you press the button again quickly and it lights up again. Every time it lights up, it gives you a flash in the eye, like it goes for its brightest setting for a split second in the actual screen. I guess that's something they could probably change in software. There's probably firmware updates, software updates that they could do on this. It does have a USB interface, so I'm sure they could do it. It'd be nice if it didn't give you that flash, particularly when you're going from, you just sort of, you put it to sleep, you bring up the eye, put it on, it gives you a flash. Yeah, it's not good for your night vision, so it'd be good if that was gone. A big one, this is kind of a big one, but this is, all these type of devices seem to do it, is the focal length. You guys probably do the same. You know, shooters go to a great deal of trouble to find a scope that sort of fits in with the focal length of their scope, you know, their zoom range to sort of suit the caliber of the weapon. And all of a sudden you might say, yep, a 3 to 9 is beautiful for what I'm doing, for this caliber, the distances I shoot at. But then when you put this on, all of a sudden you've got a 6 to 18. It's a bit of a shame. Especially when the zoom on this guy, so this has 4 times zoom built into it. Because I haven't spoken to Scopemate about this, but this is the way I perceive it. The digital zoom doesn't lose a lot of resolution. When you look at the stats for the pictures, it takes a photo in nearly 4K, so it's probably close to like an 8 megapixel photo. When you zoom in, it's cropping in obviously digitally on the sensor, but I found that even zoomed all the way in, the picture quality is still really good. So it would have been nice if they went maybe something like a 12mm or 10 or something like that. You don't really know, because without knowing the size of the sensor and the actual how it all works, the crop factor and things like that, you don't know what zoom range it all is. But to look at with my eye compared to a camera or something, or binoculars or a scope, it's about a 2 power when you're looking through this. So it would be nice if it was like a 1 power, so when you put it on you still had 3 to 9. And then if you actually wanted to shoot that more longer distance stuff and actually crop in a little bit, you can just click a couple of times, zoom in a bit, and you've got to where it's at now. That would have been really good. But as far as cons, there's not really. The only other one that I sort of found is this eyepiece. I'll do it now. It comes off a bit too easy. If it had another little band in it, you could put like a zip tie around, that would be useful. Because I haven't used this huge amounts yet, and I've already had it come off twice. One time, unfortunately, I had to backtrack a fair way along a track to go looking for it in the dark, which wasn't easy. So it's a bit of a shame, but you know, you don't want to lose these things. I understand it coming off because you want some people to have different, you know, you can use different type of eye cups on there for different things, and different people if they wear glasses, or some people they customise craziness with eyepieces. But it would be nice if there was a band on there or something, so you could zip tie it on so you didn't lose it, because that's about the only other thing. It's not really a con, but it would have been just nice if this didn't come off so easy. Alright, that's probably about it for the cons. I know a couple of big ones there, but they're not deal breakers. Pros. Okay, the little torch on it, it's fantastic. The video footage is really good. It is quite clear. You just have to manually focus it, you know, and I'm sure as you use it more, you'll get better at nail and focus. A few times I miss it, but you're used to looking for a rifle scope, because you know most times you're using rifle scopes with set parallax and things like that. There's always a little bit of focus issues, but not so bad with this. It's great you can do slow-mo, and some other features that this has that other sort of brands don't have. So build quality is good, battery life is pretty good. It's a very, very bright illuminator, probably brighter than it needs to be, but if you're using it as a spotting and a standalone spotting scope, then it's good to be able to really hit that illuminator if you need to. And I guess that's it for the pros and cons. Alright, we'll do a conclusion. So the conclusion is, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I did pay for this with my own money, so there's no bias there. I don't have to say anything that's good when it's not. No, I am pretty happy with it. All the features on it that it says it's got, they're there, they work, and the build quality is good. So I can't really fault it too badly. There are other brands that make similar things, so probably the most well-known one would be the PARD, the 007. You know, how's it compared to one of them? Now, I haven't owned one of them, so I can't compare it directly, like as a long term I've had it. My brother owns one, and he has it on his little Lithgow LA101, and it's a beautiful little combo. And I have used it, not for very long, maybe 5 minutes, plinking some cans. But I have to say, video quality and things like that, very, very comparable. And price-wise, I guess they're pretty comparable too. I don't know what the prices are going to be at, because you know what these sellers are like. It's only new, so sometimes they're high, then they come down. They might stay high, they might stay low. I've got no idea. But I'll put a link in the description below of where I got this from, directly from their store, so you can check it out and see the specs. But yeah, I just thought I'd do a review on it, and because there was no reviews, and I sort of felt like I was a bit of a guinea pig buying this one. I was looking around, I was going to buy a Pard 007, but they were getting a bit like hen's teeth. They were getting hard to find. So I looked around and I seen the Scopemate stuff with the little screens, and I thought that was really neat. And then I seen they had a new model coming out, and anyway, they made that available to me a little bit earlier. I still had to pay for it, but they did make it to me available to me for a little bit earlier if I gave it a check out and did a review. And I thought, yeah, okay, I'm taking the risk. So I spent the money, I bought it, and in all honesty, I'm pretty happy with it. I won't say it's some unbelievable thing fanciness, but no, it's a good honest unit. The conclusion is that if you enjoy spotlighting, you will enjoy one of these. It's very different from anything else I've done before. Sort of stealth spotlighting, not so much stealth from other people, stealth from the animals, and you get very different reactions. You will see foxes and roos standing back 100 metres away, you know, looking at you. They know something's over there, they're not sure what, and they don't care because it's pitch black and they feel safe. So you can have a lot of fun with them. On that note, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like reviews and outdoor gear, then hit the subscribe button. Anyway, bye for now. Okay, the mounting, bloody cockies. So it's just done with it's got a little side, like a little release. This just screws on. It comes with 2 different type fucking cockies.